let go of the past, and manifest the reality you desire. It's time to expand your consciousness and create a new enlightened transformational you by raising your vibrational frequency. We will talk about ETs, light ships, the ascending human, our ascending planet, visitations, and first conscious contact upon our new fifth dimensional Earth. Welcome to Universal Unity, New Earth Consciousness. It's time to activate a better you by embracing the white light of Source. Now your host and universal guide, Joanna L. Ross.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you so much for tuning in today. This is Joanna, May 27th. And what an incredible day. It's 11:07 for me here, and it's the 27th of May, 2017. So we're working with a lot of 11s and 7s, and my favorite number is one of my favorite number. Has 11 and 7s in it. So really excited about today. Who wants to play? Today will be a very playful, joyful day, and that's going to be our topic for today is sacred joy and sacred play, and how it allows us to open up our cosmic citizenship. And what does it mean to have our cosmic citizenship be initiated from within, and how we are the masters initiating it from our last week's show, because our shows kind of always spiral after one another. And this week is very light and filled with frivolity, if you will. We were swimming in the beautiful, divine, elegant energies of the Ascension Day on the 25th, which is also the new moon. And we had a lovely global celebration and ceremony. And we anchored in some beautiful soul tribe, human soul tribe anchorings and intentions and divine unfoldings for what we are stepping up into. And it was really lovely to see people from all over the world connect with this free 1 hour. It turned out to be, we just kept talking and talking. It just under 2 hours, I think. And we've got that link and that recording on our store, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think Chris put it on the store. And it's called the Ascension Day Ceremony, for those who so desire. And if you just email me, I can send that link out to you for those that were in that ceremony. So thank you so much, because there are many new faces, and some names and faces have been with us from the beginning. So I thank you and bless you with our heartfelt joy and our heartfelt entanglement and divine union for being a part of our soul tribe and our soul family, that we're co-creating such beautiful and profound new human potentials. And it's really been an enigmatic, just kind of enigma, what's going on really. And there's a lot of people that are feeling that up in the air type of sensation, or what's really going on, or what are we doing here? Just, there doesn't really seem to be that grounding and that anchoring, which is what new grids feel like. That's the pristine element of what we are here to anchor and ground as mavericks, and truly begin that sowing of the seeds, if you will. And so that's how it's supposed to feel, so we can let go of the worry of that and really soak within, what does it mean to be joyful? What does it mean to be playful? And how can we create sacred joy and sacred play for not only who we are as cosmic citizens, because, trust me, the higher dimensional frequencies, they move about their every moment for moment life in joy and bliss of their highest excitement. And that's something humanity is here to learn and remember. It's our birthright, and that's what the divine sovereignty of what the Christed consciousness is all about, in a nutshell, is to own and claim and acknowledge your divine sovereign birthright. What is your creative joy? What is your creative expression? And how may we co-create as a human family within it? Because as each and every one of us move about life with our own unique, sovereign, divine creative expressions, each and every one of us are claiming, and we are opening the portal, if you will, for the greater good of the all to be rebirthed and served. That's why it's so important to be joyful and blissful and follow your excitement. It's the number one key, and it's always linked with direct self-love. If you love thyself, if you're appreciating thyself, if you're honoring thyself, then all of those attributes are just second nature. It becomes our new paradigm. And so we're going to do a really fun activity just after at the top of our second hour. And it's a really quick visualization to see the future you. And this future you will be your grounding if you so desire. It will be your embedding, if you so desire, of your new cosmic joy, of your new galactic joy. And what does that look like for you? What does it feel like for you? And how can you sow the seeds of this anchoring into these pristine grids of what this joy may look like? Not necessarily that you have to know the ins and outs and all the threadings that go with your excitement and joy, but even to visualize yourself dancing and healing and communing with your brethren, your human brethren, your family brethren. So this is how we begin, dear ones. And it was beautiful and lovely. We have beautiful brotherhoods of light with us right now, galactic frequencies and councils of light with us right now. And we have the heavenly hierarchies as well. And we have children with us. Children from the Pleiades this time. Thank you, children. Joining in for our communion today. For it's all about sacred joy and play. And we are preparing the ground, if you will. We are preparing the light fields, if you will, for our communion, for our first landings, for our first gatherings as a human family with our galactic families and celestial families and universal families at large. And so it begins now. The celebration of ascension on the 25th of May, the new moon, these new beginnings, these new stories, these new anchorings, these new energies, these new potentials, is up to each and every one of us to take action on and be and do and create and anchor and ground. That's the action part of ascension. And all else will catalyze and magnetize in this way. And so sitting back and waiting for things to happen is only one part of it. That's the surrender and allowance. And many of you are in that phase. I'm in that phase myself. However, along with that phase, I must act in joy and be happy and be acting in my happiness and my joyfulness. Because that's a part of it too. That's part of surrender and allowance. When you just trust that everything will unfold as it should. So be happy. It's not about waiting and worrying, is everything going okay, and you're micromanaging all the timelines and so on, and that's letting go, because we don't have any control on that. We shouldn't. It's about intending and being, emitting the energy of, and the universe will take care of the rest. And that's our trust, unconditionally, in who we are as masters, dear ones. So welcome, this beautiful 27th day. And this day works out to a vibrational number 6. And this number 6 is what happens after change. The number 5 is the catalyst to change. The number 5 is the catalyst to all things new. Get moving, get changing, illuminate yourself into something new. And that 6 is that vibratory frequency that swoops into something and brings you something new so that you can see it. As you act, as you behave, as you know, here's your response, here's your mirror, here's your reflection. And so this is what our frequency is today. Yes, last week was cycles in our mastery, allowing the human potential to stand abroad in all that we are as our physical being, as our spiritual being, as our soulful being, as our galactic being, a multidimensional aspect of all that we are, and truly refine choice moment for moment for moment so that we create something new, we anchor something new, we behave in a new way. And that is entirely what we're going to be talking about today as we bring to the forefront the ideas and concepts about really why we are doing what we do and how we can step outside of what we've always done. And that's a challenge for so many people. Trust me. I've been on this ride for a while. And to step outside of what we've always done, especially when you have children and there's schedules to keep and there's timelines to manage and there's 3 kids' appointments and so many things that we've done as a regular daily schedule for eons. Lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. It's part of our egoic patterning as human beings. But how to change entire collective belief systems begins with new demonstration, with new behavior, with new setting of the frequency, and begin new behaving in higher dimensional ways. And that's why we are here, that's why we meet. For you are the way showers, you are the mavericks, you are the one carving the new path. So anything that you can do to step outside your routine, to step outside what is average, to step outside what is mediocre, find your joy and excitement and do so. That creates these new templates of light. That's why you are a master. Set the course for something new, and something new will be shown to you. You open up the playing field to grander dynamics, your galactic dynamics, your cosmic dynamics, when you're stepping outside of what you've always done. And I often say that to my children. Well, you can't expect change if you're doing what you've always done. It just takes a little bit here and there, little tweaks in your daily understanding or your beliefs about who you are, or how you move about your day, or the things that you say and the words that you use and the actions that you take. A little twist here, a little twist there. And there you go. A whole new reality is before you. And so oftentimes, dear ones, especially with the frequencies that we're in, they're not big changes. They're little ones. And then enough big changes, and your whole reality is in a new frequency of potential. Thread by thread, thought by thought, word by word, deed by deed. And this beautiful cosmic blanket of light that we've created and we've woven and we've sewn together. Vibration through vibration, heart through heart, joy through joy, laughter through laughter. We create in joy, in one, in unity. And we create the heightened consciousness that can allow us to move about our daily lives in complete spontaneity and bliss and synchronicity. And why not? Are we not worthy of that? How many of you have just desired and ached within the belly of all that you are to let go of your 9-to-5 job? How many of you question, well, why do we need 9-to-5 jobs? What is that all about? How many of you question the idea and the concept of buying land, of segmenting Gaia, to have it being owned and bought and purchased and sold in the monetary status that it has been? How many of you desired to go somewhere but didn't have the means or the inspiration or the creativity or the potentials before you or the opportunities? How many of you desire just to get up and dance but feel as if you need someone to dance with? Are you aching for this joy, dear ones? So many of you are. And the Galactic Councils of Light came forward just before we got on the line in our Sacred Communion and Soul Tribe. And thank you for every heartbeat that beats along with us in this new vibrational intent. And the Galactic Councils put forward their understanding of how we have worked so very hard, eon after eon, lifetime after lifetime, year after year, day after day, in and out of the same daily schedules, the same daily routines. The Galactic Brotherhoods of Light come forward to us in this moment and they say, we've watched so many of you struggle, such hopeful, hard workers you are. And what if you were for just a moment to let go of the reins? To inspire yourself and ignite yourself to play, to laugh, just to laugh, to smile, just to smile at strangers, people in your family, the pets in your life, and surrender into your own joy. There are those of you listening that question, do I have joy? And we find that often perplexing. For it is your birthright, dear ones, to open your heart within all that you are and know that is Mother, Father, God's wish for you, to be joyful in all moments, just because you're you. This is the playing field. And yes, there will be discovery, and yes, there will be work ahead, and yes, there will be healings ahead. But it can be done in the joy of all that you are, for you are deserving and worthy of this joy, this heartfelt joy to be you, to open up your heart and walk in this way in all ways, in every way, regardless of who is in front of you, regardless of what you face, to be loved, to be joyful anyways. You are worthy to be filled with joy and to be joy. And that was directly from the Galactic Brotherhoods of Light, with us at all moments. And understanding that we are such beings of pattern and what we've allowed ourselves to be patterned within, and their beliefs. That's it. That's it. We allow ourselves to create unlimited beliefs with no boxes around them, no structures, no timelines, and we just live in joy through our excitements and our heartfelt wonder to be human in an enlightened way. Which is what each and every one of us are awakening to, how each and every day creates new wonder for us. How may I look around and see my world in a new way from what I create from within, how I perceive through my divine heart. As you perceive through divine joy, through divine love, through divine laughter. Your world gifts you back in this way, and it is perceived from new heights. This is your cosmic initiation to always be in wonder and joy. For wonder is the catalyst to keep seeking. Curiosity, to move about the cosmos, to know your brethren from all corners, to know your humans from all corners, the family that extends from every country and every continent, every race, every creed, every color, And all that you are as a human being, your human family is wide and vast. How may we be joyful with one another? And the cycles of mastery teach us refined choice, again, regardless of what is in front of us, to create with joy. Refine our choice that is geared and directed at and through and with joy. And when choices come about that you have manifested for yourself, for you are a master and you manifest it all, how may your choices be filled with joy? How may your choices be directly related to joy? How may they be directly related to excitement and to laughter, to communion, to your sacredness? For in all that we say, they are reminders of every other offering, dear ones. It feels different now, though. However, your grids are new. And joy feels a little awkward and odd. It's not something the humans are used to. Only in celebratory moments of birthdays or annual gatherings of family. For from our perspective, dear ones, joy and laughter is in every moment. And so it should be known to you in every moment, and why not? How may you anchor this knowing? How may you anchor all that you are in joy and love? To create something new and spiral something new. So that you are preparing the way for, you are preparing the fields for your cosmic initiation. It's all joy. Your discoveries, the scientific inventiveness, the healings that we do, create in the now. And the healings and the corrections that we do with Gaia and our human family in the now. Moving through the divine sacred temple of light, the body and the vessel of all that we are as a multidimensional form begins within. And all that we see without moves through us, is lived through us, experienced through us, and why not have it be sacred and joyful? For imagine yourself within a council of light, dear ones. You have been invited as human family, as human mavericks of ascension and enlightenment and awakening, the way showers of Terra. And you walk within this beautiful etheric chamber, the higher selves of all that you are, anchored within the very heartbeat of Gaia. And you feel her sands and her soils and her grasses and her trees, and the sacred divine breath that's gift to you in every moment. And you feel the essence, the multidimensional essence of all that you are, present in pride and joy, to be sitting amongst such brilliant universal minds of light, of form, of galactic brethren. And in this one meeting, this one council meeting, suspended in time, suspended in temples of light, and in that one moment, the entire room of consciousness heeds your voice, heeds your heart call. And silence erupts. And the question is posed. How did Terra shift from what was to what is? Tell us. For there are communities and civilizations all around this cosmos that desire to hear your stories of light. How you paved the way for new beginnings, how you paved the way for new paradigms of behavior. Out of such paradigms in which you were entrenched within, 9 to 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 5. How did you do it, dear one? How did you see your way through that veil? And you can feel the light emanations from every being, from their heart to your heart, just gleaming with empowerment and encouragement and surprise and delight and joy and pride and brotherly love. And for that one moment, your heart opens up and the Divine Holy Mother Father lives through you. And for a moment, every lifetime you've ever lived, in a structure, in a schedule, in a paradigm of density, flash before you as if it were a second or a breath. And it becomes so far off in the distance, it's hard to recollect, because you just know that being in so much joy and love of who you are takes precedence over all things. And your response so simple and so bold. We just remembered to love. And the room stops and quakes in your response. How honest and simple and pure it is. It's how all new things are born, is it not? The Divine Holy Mother Father, from our central sun, from our galaxy, from our universe, through the adoration of one another, in their divine male frequency, the divine female frequency, through love, all things are born. How may you gift this to yourself, dear ones? To the rebalancing of our civilization, the rebalancing of our children, and our socio-systems, if you will, requires only that we act, be, and behave through love. And why not have it be joyful? And these conversations taking place in this now moment, dear ones, in all etheric chambers across our cosmos and dimensional frequencies that each of you are entangled with, all these councils that you belong within, for you know what you are doing and why you are here. And the answers will become clear as you soak within the divine love of all that you are. And synchronicities will just befall you. And you'll be sent upon a new path of excitement. And you'll begin and remember once again how to laugh. And your children will look at you with their shocked eyes. Why are you laughing? You hardly laugh. Why? There must be something incredible happening. And the higher aspect of you says, why is it that people look at you perplexed when you laugh? Should you not be laughing all the time, dear one, dear heart of gold? For this is how new human beginnings are striked into motion. Like a match in the fire that we create to transmute all that was. And the divine phoenix rises from the ashes to create something new. To say, regardless of what challenges I move through, regardless of how hot it has been, we will arise and create once again. For we've been here before, but this time it's new. We've come from other star systems and we've ascended there. We know what we're doing. Won't you join in this dance? Won't you come out and play? And so our topic today, dear ones, divine sacred joy, is our cosmic initiation. And how human paradigms are created in this way. The sweat and the tears and the strife and the struggle, those times are over. For it is through the allowance, through the acceptance, and through the divine surrender into the purity of all that you are, shows you a new way. And it doesn't have to be so hard. Move forward with the pure choice, the refined mastery choice in this one now moment to see yourself anew. And you hold your hands upon your heart and you say in this moment, dear creation, dear Mother, Father, God, and all that I am in all the frequencies and all dimensional realms and all councils I belong to, I desire to open my heart and see myself anew and express and step forward in this new frequency. And how so may I be changed. Create a synchronicity, dear divine team, like councils of light. And the synchronicities come, and opportunities are created. Initiation and invocation, anytime you so desire, to step into something new. And these are the lovely energies that we swim within in the new moon, which we've just completed a couple of days ago, and we're still spiraling within these beautiful new beginnings and these new stories of potentiation for our human family. Our human stories are just beginning. And there are so many of us, so many light workers that we talk to, and so many light workers that we commune with. And many of them are moving within their everyday paradigm and understanding that there are big changes afoot. But how do I step outside of what I'm doing and truly step into what it is I truly love? Because the choices that one makes just seem so insurmountable. There's so many to make. And what if this choice is not accurate? What if I can't make enough money? And what if? We've all had them. We're moving through them right now. And the divine desires you to know. When you move forward with the purity of your intent to be your fullest, unconditional, pure, joy-hearted self, to serve yourself, to serve the greater good, you will be supported in every way. You just will. Create that knowingness. Create that stirring within, and that will be your excitement. That will be your ignition, your catalyst to know, well, I'm supported. I'm empowered. That's that change in vibration, to smile and open your heart and say, okay, I get it. I'm ready. Let's do this. I am ready. And you spiral in joy and light, and you dance, and you move your body and your vessel, and you can feel the energies of the cosmos working with you, and the universe arranges itself for you, through you. And as you lift your vessel and your soul and your multidimensional gorgeousness, you step forward in this knowing and intent, the purity of your intent, just to be of service through your divine gifts, and be joyful doing it. That is divine initiation and invocation, and there's nothing more powerful than that. And we have changed our paradigm, dear lighted ones. If we remind you in this one moment of now, the etheric chambers wishes you so, to have a moment of reflection and recollection. A short year ago, when we launched these discussions and gatherings, these unions of the soul tribe, and many of you have been here from the beginning, and many of you are gathering week by week by week as the ripples of these frequencies move throughout your planet Terra, from her core through her heartbeat, to the myriads of layers of life and love. You gather and you commune and you create and you let go. And how short it was just a year ago that many of these discussions and many of these musings and many of these high vibrational ignitions were stirring within you, but we didn't have words for. They had not yet been discussion. However, there's always this now moment. It's always alive, it's always here, it's always now, it's always within. Do you see what we're saying, dear ones? Limitless possibilities exist within you right here and right now. Your readiness, your excitement, your joy allows it to come to the surface and play with you and entangle with you. And we've prepared ourselves over the year. Week by week we gather, bringing new information, new musings. However, it's still this now moment. You've always had the wisdom within you, whether it was a year ago or today or yesterday. That same information is within you right here, right now. Limitless potentials of the unmanifest exist within you. And it takes your excitement, your ignition, your intent of pure will, divine love and compassion, the divine mother and father frequencies, that balance of male, female, working through your divine inner temple of light. The chakras are spiraling, the chakras are talking, God particles are talking. You're letting go of resistance, you're letting go of self-doubt, you're letting go of lack of self-worth. You're clearing away the debris that allows all that is to come forward and play within you, right here, right now. The information has always been within. We bring it forward to ignite and to remind you. New paradigm started a year ago, in every moment that you so choose. And your daily routine, your daily schedule, the weightedness of all those things that you do that you truly don't want to do. Slowly you let them go, and let them go, and let them go. Or your readiness may be to let it go now. And step into something new and say, I'm following my passion. If we have to sell the house and downsize and rework our finances, so be it. Some things are bigger than that. And we will look back in time, if you will, when the change of this paradigm was so big and so grand. And just as we were in the council chambers now, we just did it through love. We were so inspired to be love and to experience ourselves as love and to be joyful and dance with our children and play with our children and listen and be in pure intent to be with one another. It just kind of happened. We just forgot what it was like to be dense and limited and controlled by our schedules of old beliefs and old constructs and old patterning that we've outgrown and we're ready to let go. The readiness of a collective to let go of certain things, whether it be food or illness or pharmaceutical companies, whatever it may be, as a collective decision, and it comes from our awareness, comes from our self-love, comes from our self-empowerment to one another as a collective, as a human family, to gather in joy, to gather in unite, to gather in oneness. As we do so, we allow each other the empowerment, the mirror reflection of one another, to say that you can do this. You are a master. You know what to do. And you can just let that go, because I'll be here to support you. I'll be here to empower you and to lift you up. For my hand, like the hand of the divine, is right here for you. Just as we do our children. As many times as they fall, unconditionally, we bring them back in. This is what every fear is for you. It's that inner child, the Akashic child of the universe, that's been through Star Wars, that's been through descension, that has been through all aspects of limitation and pain and separation from Mother, Father, God that you've experienced, is your Akashic healing, is your personality constructs through every vibrational frequency and every vibrational realm. Every earth time that you've experienced is what you are bringing in to heal and make whole and create love around and with and through. As you bring those personality constructs in and say, there's no reason for you to fear. I'm right here. I'm with you always. I will not abandon you. I will not leave you. I will make you whole and I will love you again. That is mastery. Every fear you have created from the experiences from the lifetimes that you are now healing, just as your children are. Awaken to the memories and to the Akash that your children are healing and bringing forward to you to assist you in your healing. For remember, all that you experience is a reflection of you and all that you're healing and all that you're giving love to and through, for it's you. Some way, somehow, a reflection, a perspective. How deeply can you go with love? And every fear construct, that's what it is. It's a construct. A construct, are you safe? A construct, will you have enough abundance? Will you have enough self-creativity? Will you be okay? Will you be safe? Will you be cared for? Will you be loved? Will you be housed? Will you be gifted? Any fear that you can create, you have the equal genius to gift it that love and heal it and make it whole. So that that fear is integrated, transmuted alchemically through your love, through your joy, through your divine wholeness. That's how we alchemically transmute. That's how come you're a master. You have seen that the fears were illusory and you just let them go. We've just loved. You're back in the chamber, dear ones. You see how we toggle through time. Remembering, refining choice. Remembering, refining choice. Remembering, refining choice. And every fear that you have, I can bring it in and I can face it face to face. And I say, you are a part of me. You will not be forgotten. You have profound genius gifts. You are a shaman. You are a master. You are an herbalist. You are a healer. You know what you're doing. Let go of your doubt, dear golden one. You've been here so many times. And through this love, we can initiate and activate your DNA genius. That God particle that's in your chakras just awaiting your love, your acknowledgement, your joy, your happiness. Moment for moment, you heal, you remember, you heal, you remember. And through your healing and through your remembering of who you are as your divine God sovereign being, your God spark, your God self, your Christed consciousness, the higher aspect of all that you are. That 12-foot, 15-foot divine Christed self that you step into upon ascension is you now, letting go of fears and doubts of your worthiness, of your belonging, of your potential, of your intelligence, of your ability to love and be loved. How many ways have we lacked? We can say this because we've known it all. What a divine human ride. To come forward in these ways and in these days and in these recognitions. For it's through recognition, it's through acknowledgement that you step up into new frequencies. Because it's no longer a threat. It's no longer a fear. You can face it and say, I get it. I just have to love it and make it whole. Come on. So we have to move some things around. So we have to change our way of living. So we have to change this. So we have to change. So what? Isn't being in joy and in love more important? Isn't spending the quality time with those you truly care for more important? This is how we change our paradigms of thought. We place it out there for reflection, sacred reflection, so that you go within. For each and every one of you upon this planet, make no exception, within this universe, has a divine soul plan. And you are linked with oversouls and oversouls of oversouls and families of families of families of families that you are linked and threaded with. And why you are so infinite. Within this divine soul plan that's held within the divine center of your divine sacred heart, Mother, Father, God with you at every moment, never severed, never goes away. This divine soul plan is known by you, through you. And it takes just sacred reflection to say, well, how do I feel about what's being said? Am I ready to change my daily life, to create something new? What is sacred communication? What is that? How may I entangle? What does that mean for me? How may I entangle with my children? How may I bring the children forth and have them show me? For I'm sure they're here to teach me something. What is the lesson they're teaching me? And can I see them smile through me? Or how important it is for us to show our children joy and love and happiness, frivolity, being joyful, being blessed just to be human. And how often have our children seen that from us? The joy just to be human. For this is a profound ride of transformation, and we are creating new tracks, new pavement of light, new seeds unheard of. For when have these discussions been so passionate? For there's so many of you that desire something new, something playful, something exciting to get you out of the everyday. You're worthy of it. It's why you're here. It's your cosmic initiation. Are you excited to travel the cosmos? Are you excited to meet various forms of your brethren? Are you excited to understand the dynamics of lightship travel? Are you excited to understand the heartbeat within Gaia and her threading through all wildlife, her threading through all nature? Are you excited to remember how to dance with tones and sounds? And the sacred belly of all that you are erupts with joy and dance. For you know that it ignites you to a new frequency that allows you to create that shamanic wisdom that just flows forward through you. That's what sound does. Reminds us, ignites the DNA, ignites the memories within the cells. The etheric field holds memory of all things. How may you ignite this? We talk about this week after week. The multidimensional aspects of all that you are, the physical, the mental, etheric, and the emotional, and are each in balance. Are you nurturing and nourishing each one? How may you play and give sacred time and reflection with each one? How may you dance and ignite each one? This is your divine inner temple of light. This is how you live through in mastery of all things. How profound you are, how limitless. When you understand and know your honest and true potential to be dynamic. And we heal all fears, all challenge and strife. So if something is posed to you in your new setting about, new paths, new directions, acting on excitement, acting on your joy and your bliss, and if you feel those tensions and those anxieties of fear crop up, allow yourself to center and go within, drop to the divine sacred heart, and say, what aspect, personality of this is me coming forward? From the ego desiring my attention, my healing, my nurturance. And it will be linked to one of those four bodies, for you're a multidimensional being, and that's where the pains and the ills come from, the Akash in all lifetimes ever lived. Is it an emotional fear? Is it a physical fear of safety? Is it an etheric fear, not speaking your truth of your skills and your wisdoms and your gifts, intuitively unseen, unheard, unknown, not taught in schools, not taught in medicine? And how may you come forward and be your authentic self and be your authentic truth and balance all that is shown to you and heal and love it and bring it in? It's no longer I fear anymore. And you make that energetic space for all that is new to come in and play. And how may you dance? And why we remind, and why we commune, and why we gift, and why we love, and why we offer, and why we sing. So that we may remind all those that so desire to be reminded. The potentials are limitless for you to ignite something new within. And that God spark is within you to come forward and play in sacred ways. Fear of letting go, and usually it has to do with safety. You know, when we have those fears of just letting go of the schedule, letting go of the daily routines, and letting go of relationships that are no longer in vibration, and letting go of our ideas and perspectives about money and monetary means, our perspective about any one thing that limits us. And this is what mastery, and this is what our cosmic initiation will be about, and its underlying features that are allowing you to feel what you feel, so embrace it. When you're feeling these anxieties and these fears, embrace it. For those are aspects of you, those personality perspectives on other dimensional frequencies and other dimensional threads, if you will, that are requiring your attention to heal and love and bring in. For when you do so, you're then lifted and raised to a new frequency thread. So this is why we say, go forward with everything in excitement, regardless of how it feels in that moment. Because you're a master and you know you can move through it with love. But usually when it's letting go, it's our idea about safety. Well, am I going to be safe in this new environment? I'm going to be safe in this new thing. Because we've had so many lifetimes where it wasn't. But this one is different. This one is where we have all the skills and the awareness and the knowledge and the abilities within us that we navigate anything that arises. And that's a truth. But this next stage of our cosmic initiation is for us to be as flexible and malleable and fluid and flowing as possible. That's new for so many. That's why it's been so hard for us to let go of so much. Because we've had so many patternings, we've had so many restrictions, we've had so many constructs. That's through patterning of the ego and safety. That's why we've done years and years of healing and letting go and releasing self-love, self-honor, self-appreciation, so that we truly can step up into and truly release and surrender and not know. Just let go and step into it. Stepping into the unknown and being as malleable and fluid and flexible as possible. And letting go of complete rigidity of all things. Rigidity causes judgment. Rigidity causes lack and stagnancy. It's a frequency that's held within safety features and that fear dynamic. That's rigidity. Fear of letting go. So the opposite of that rigidity, and this is how you do your own innate healing to higher frequencies. That's what's called redefine, realign. In our Ascension Pathwork, our book number 2, which Tina has up there, the link. And we've got that 3rd edition, book number 2, that walks you through these pathwork, these daily alignments, that when you feel those fears and anxieties coming forward, understanding the multidimensional being that you are, your mental, your emotional, your etheric, your physical, and truly honoring and creating sacred time and reflection and joy and play with all of your multidimensional bodies. As you do so, your fears get loved, transmuted, alchemically shifted into joy and peace and love and happiness, so that all that you are is love. You're flowing, you're fluid, you're accepting, you're dynamic. You can observe without reacting. You can observe with compassion and pure unconditional love and kindness. Do you see how we're evolving, dear ones? A year ago, were we ready to have these conversations in the way that we are now? For there are many of you that we are sensing that feel as if we're really ready to create that fire ignition and that rising of the phoenix into a new frequency experience. And whether that is created through changing where you live, or changing how you live, or changing your daily activities, creating higher dimensional activities of joy and communion and sacredness, sacred honoring. We've done it before. We've all belonged to higher dimensional communities and tribes on Earth and in other star systems. Awakening and expansiveness is remembering those particles of light that exist within your multidimensional fields and having them live through you in your genius, through you in your pure intent, through you in your divine sacred choice to be pure love. How dynamic you are. And as you sit at the council chamber and you sit at the table of this beautiful crystalline light pyramid, and there's energies and there's glistening hearts supporting and encouraging you, completely dazzled by your glow, all you remember is the moment that you chose, regardless of what's in front of you, to be love, and how your entire reality shifted in that one choice. For when it's a choice to be love, to give love, to emanate love, everything changes. That's how powerful love is. It unites, it amplifies, it magnifies, it creates, it heals, it nourishes, it gives, it receives. That's why it's sacred. That's why it's divine. How profound, dear lighted ones. And I'm so blessed to be with you week after week after week. And this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is my last week before I'm off to Peru. I'm going to Peru from June 2nd to June 15th, and I'll return, I think, a couple of days before the summer solstice energy vibrations, which will be another energetic shift for us all to create new paradigms and to release all of the constructs and limitations and all those threads that keep us binded. And I think, that's what I'm sensing on why we're moving into, why I have been reflecting so much on creating sacred play and sacred joy, and really flowing into that as often and as much as I can in my daily life. Because these energies that are coming up in the summer solstice, as well as in the fall equinox, they're empowering us to truly be as malleable and as fluid as possible. Because if you're rigid and you're stuck in any way, if you're managed and controlled in any way, then the changes and the frequencies will gift you with some bumps, and those are a blessing as well. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. And so allow yourself to be flowing and let go of what needs to be let go. And we all know what they are because we feel them in our stomach. It feels really tight and knotted. And so that's your higher self saying, something's not in alignment with where you desire to be. So let's take a look at it. Let's nourish it. Let's heal it. Let's love it. And let's move into a higher ground of frequency. And that's why we do what we do. It's all cyclical. And so you know what you're doing. You know why you manifest what you manifest, and you know how to move through it with joy and with liberation and with confidence and empowerment, because you're fully supported when you're acting on your divine, pure heart. And so it's brilliant. It's always a brilliant orchestration. We just have to trust and know that for ourselves. And so we're getting ready to take a break here, but we've got two special guests with us today. One is Caroline Chang, who's a beautiful radio host herself, and I've been on a couple of her radio shows. So she's going to be with us to align us with a beautiful alliance that we've created, a oneness alliance of universal perspective, if you will, and allowing the new human paradigms and all that we talk about as new to come forward and be presented to our human family. And we're going to create some events around that. So she's going to come on and give us a bit more information. And then we have Vicky, my beautiful divine Vicky, is going to be with us again today. And her and I are going to muse about current ascension energies and how we can bring these new paradigms and these new beginnings and how we can ignite new activities within our families, how we can ignite new ways of being with our children and new ways of being with our colleagues and with those that we circle in our families, in our everyday life, because truly it's about being practical and how we can create all that is new and all that is loving in our practical moment for moment life. And that's how we shift into these new light fields of dynamic experience. And so it's really wonderful that we've got beautiful goddesses that constantly surrounding us from all over the globe and constantly with their heartfelt dedication and devotion, creating beautiful councils of light, beautiful centers of light that we are co-creating together, and healings and wonderful learnings that we're creating through this universal presence and this universal energy. So we're very grateful. And we thank all of you week after week for tuning in and allowing your hearts to be open and purely loving with us. So I thank you, because we really alter the all as each and every one of us open our heart each and every week to be the best version of us that we can be. And those are truly the divine gifts. And so thank you. And so just a reminder that we do have our third edition pathwork, the Ascension Pathwork. My mouth is not working at the same speed that my mind is. And so feel free to log on to our books page, universalunity.ca. We are also in the process of changing our website to our Universal Light Wisdom Healing Centers. That will be our new website, always spiraling within the mission of universal unity and universal oneness and love. And so we're also going to talk about some lightship experience after we get back from the break as well. So feel free to tune in our next hour with our special guests and our dynamic universal conversation. Namaste.
You've been listening to Universal Unity, New Earth Consciousness with Joanna L. Ross. Live every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. To explore, empower, understand, inspire, and further connect with this higher state of consciousness, please visit universalunity.ca. For more information on the host, Joanna L. Ross, please visit her KCOR Digital Radio Network show page, Universal Unity, New Earth Consciousness. You're listening to the all-new KCOR, the core, broadcasting from Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital of the world. Oh yeah, in a little place called Area 51. Let go of the past and manifest the reality you desire. It's time to expand your consciousness and create a new enlightened transformational you by raising your vibrational frequency. We will talk about ETs, light ships, the ascending human, our ascending planet, visitations, and first conscious contact upon our new fifth dimensional Earth. Welcome to Universal Unity, New Earth Consciousness. It's time to activate a better you by embracing the white light of Source. Now your host and universal guide, Joanna L. Ross.
Welcome back. This is Joanna from Universal Unity. Thank you so much for tuning in. And today we're talking about sacred joy and how it initiates us into our cosmic belonging, our cosmic, the threading of all that we are as cosmic beings, as cosmic citizens, if you will. And it really allows us to perceive our whole reality in new ways and create that new paradigm through what we perceive to be true, what we perceive to be all that we are, what we exist within, and what exists within us. And any enlightenment and awakening work really deals with those three concepts. Who are we? What do we exist within? And what exists within us? And we can really create simplicity around it because it should be. And that's what the Christ came forward and many masters to come forward to teach and to inspire and to empower. And it really transcended all religion that we defined and we made human, if you will, that human-made religion that we created. And we allowed our masters to be attached with that. But what their true teaching was to have that divine sovereignty, that sovereign creativity, for us to truly know through and through who we are, what we exist within, and what exists within us is truly limitless. We're divine God children. We're universal children of light. And we can manifest and transmute anything. And that's truly how simple it is. It's done through a myriad of ways, and we alchemically shift and change things through a myriad of ways. It's always through love. We do have the divine inner temple of light, which is our inner mechanism, the chakra systems, the pillar of light, how we infuse thought, imagination, creativity, and so on. How we allow the divine sacred breath, what has the light encodings, to be threaded through us. We create and imagine, infuse. That's our unique perspective, our unique gifts, as we infuse these ideas and creativities out into our new light fields, our new imaginings, our new light templates, if you will, that we create through thought, through intent, through purity of love. This is how the dynamics, the mechanisms of new paradigms are actually created. And we've been saying similar things, week after week after week, as we build on our ideas, we build on our musings, as we build on our remembrances. And we ignite those new God particles within each and every one of us that gather within this soul tribe, as we allow the open heart of all that we are to feed and nourish and gift and receive off one another. Because remember, just as the divine sacred breath holds the innate light encodings of our potentiation, which is limitless, it's a reciprocal breath. It's a reciprocal give and take process. So if you receive that and you're gifting that to yourself and you're gifting it to Gaia as you inhale with Gaia and you gift that back out to creation, it's a cyclical process of creation, a cyclical process of how we create and manifest new paradigms. And so when we say, well, how do I create sacred joy simplistically in my life so that I can feel and sense my galactic citizenship? I truly want to feel who I am as a galactic citizen. And then one of the primary differences and anomalies that we've faced here as human beings is that we've had a completely limited view and perspective on what it means to be joyful and how we move about our lives. We've got to go to work from 9 to 5. Those are the constructs we've believed to be true. We've created these egoic patterns. We've created works and jobs and buildings to kind of fuse those patterns and paradigms of thought and limitation and density. But it doesn't have to be that way. There are many of you that are here to inspire new paradigms and carve new paths of potentiation by just being in your sacred joy and creating something new. Who says we have to go to work from 9 to 5? If we have to change the living circumstances, we have to change the living. If enough of humanity does this, then our social situation changes. And that's when it's the readiness of the collective that changes the social systems that we exist within, because we create it through our consciousness, through our awareness, through our belief that, yes, we are our systems. We are the systems. So why not create something happy and joyful? Why do we have to go to work every day? My children still ask me that. Well, why do you have to go to work every day? So if we create something joyful and blissful, it can be whatever we want it to be. And if we say we're creating these beautiful, joyful passions and these beautiful spiritual awakenings and these spiritual, enlightenments, we can create whatever we want. Why do we have to call it work at all? And so all of these are new ways to perceive your reality, and how you go about doing it is by trusting in the inner genius of all that you are, trusting that you are God's spark. You're infinite, you're limitless. There's infinite potentials within you to create something new right here, right now. Allowing yourself the acknowledgement and claiming of that birthright as you place your foot upon Gaia, that's your commitment and devotion with her and Mother, Father, God to say, I'm creating something new in this moment of now, let's begin. You don't have to know how it will unfold. The universe will unfold that for you. The universe will gift you. Your teams, your spirit guides, your higher self will orchestrate that for you. You're trusting in it and acting on behalf of it. That's how you show yourself your divine sacredness. That's how you honor who you are, by trusting that you do have genius within and you want to play. If you're never acting, if we're stuck and stagnant and we're rigid, then that's where the feeling of lack comes from, and fear. Because you're not honoring the all that you are, because you're never acting upon it. And those beautiful excitements that we have stirring within us at all times, it's for us to act upon. It's for us to get busy and just do. And then at one point you look back at the council, as you sit at the council table and say, well, I just remember acting in love. I was excited about something. I just went with it. And then all the steps take care of themselves. That's the catalyst, quantum equation that we've talked about so very often. Just begin. And this is why I'm getting more and more excited about this beautiful higher dimensional light wisdom center that my children and I are creating. We've been creating it in our house for a while, in our communions and our discussions and our healings with one another. For their healing, just as I'm healing. Every time I move through a new phase, they're healing as well. And we're allowing each other to see, well, the more playful and joyful we are, it just ignites something new. And it allows us to be really what we're supposed to be, which is we're meant to be in joy. It's our birthright to have fun. It's our birthright to show our kids that we are fun. It's our birthright to show our kids that we can be joyful and we can shine like the sun. We're meant to. We're children of God. We're all meant to be in this joyful play, this beautiful human gift that is our human ascension, is our human path to our divine righteousness of all that we are, limitless in potential. And it can be done just by trusting all that you are. Just trust that it's going to work out. If you're excited about something, trust it and act in any way that you can upon it. You know what you're doing. Your higher self is gifting you with exactly what you're being gifted with to show you the grander soul blueprint that you came here with. And even if something may seem or appear, which has happened to me the last couple of months, actually, I've been gifted the symbol of Tai Chi over and over and over, of this Tai Chi. And I know exactly now what it means. I know why this hint has been coming to me. I know now. I didn't then. But a couple of months ago, I was gifted Tai Chi. Tai Chi just kept coming to me. Tai Chi, Tai Chi. But I understand it's how we create portals of energy with our vessel between Gaia and between creation. And so I'm going to begin to play with that. But how did I know what Tai Chi meant? It didn't seem as if, I'd never been really interested in Tai Chi before. I've never really watched it. I didn't even know really what it was. It's never been a thread of excitement for me. But I kept giving this hint to myself. And so this is why sometimes you'll gift yourself with something and you'll hear a word over and over and over again. Or you'll get a vision, or you'll get a symbol, or you'll see something over and over and over again. That's your higher self saying there's something in here for you. Even though it might not be connected in any way, that's letting go of all those egoic doubts, those egoic patterns of safety, and just jump on your excitement, because it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to link. At some point, those threads of your soul that are expansive and infinite will thread you into exactly the excitement of what you're meant to be doing and what you're meant to be expressing, the gift of all that you are. And it may take you 4,000 threads. Who knows? Might take you 2. Might take you 3. Might take you 10, 11, or 12. It doesn't matter. But follow the excitements that your higher self is gifting. It doesn't have to make sense. It's not supposed to. We're multidimensional galactic cosmic beings, and we're going to flow in any way and thread ourselves in any way that we can. That's how we create unity and oneness, by creating these new paradigms of fluidity, of trusting oneself, of trusting the higher aspects of our light, of the genius that we have within. And as we talk about genius, we're going to thread our way to our guest today. Our guest today is Caroline Chang, and thank you, Caroline, for joining us. She's with me on this beautiful journey of enlightenment and empowerment, and we've created, synchronistically, the Universal Oneness Alliance, and she's going to talk a little bit more about that, but Caroline, thank you for joining us today, for being my guest.
Thank you, Joanna. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited. I'm actually surprised that I'm nervous. I'm surprised because, I do my own show weekly, and I don't get nervous anymore for my own show. But being a guest for you, I'm nervous and I'm surprised. But I'm so honored. Thank you so much for having me.
And so tell me a little bit about our synchronistic connection and how you and I have threaded together and what that has what's come about from that threading, and give your perspective on this beautiful excitement that you've found yourself within.
Wow. I was listening to you before you brought me on, and I was like, wow, this is so true. What you're talking about trusting those excitements, because we get those feelings, higher self is speaking to us all the time. And I discovered you a little over a year ago. And when I discovered you, I was like, oh, I must have you on my show. And you so graciously came, and I was so thankful. But just recently, about 3 months ago, higher self was telling me, okay, it's time to do more. I've had my show Awake to Oneness Radio now for about 2 years, and I love it. I love the guests that I have, and that all came from inspiration. Like you said, 2 years ago, when higher self told me, just do it, I didn't even know how, but I was obedient. I just said, okay. And now I'm at a point in my life, I just trust. I trust in where higher self is guiding me. So when higher self a few months ago was guiding me to invite you and a few other of my guests that are in Canada, and to create this live event, to host a live event in Victoria, Canada, of all places, which don't know anything about Canada, don't know too much about Victoria, but higher self told me, do this. And I was just obedient. So I reached out to you and to the two other guests, which is Brad Johnson and Tina Louise Spalding. The three of you said yes. For me, that in itself was amazing, because I know how busy everyone is. And to synchronize everyone's schedule at the same time, that right there said, okay, this is higher self following through. And then you actually a few months before I actually contacted you about the event, I was listening to your program, and higher self was saying, you need to do something with Joanna. Yeah, and I was getting that clear as day, and I'm like, okay, but what? And so then I got the inspiration for the event, contacted you, and then a few weeks after that, you contacted me and said, let's form an alliance. And it's like, oh my goodness, this is purely divine, because this is exactly what Spirit was telling me a few months ago. I just didn't know how. I didn't follow the thread. So you did. So you followed the thread. I knew that Spirit was telling me to connect with you. And I just said, well, I don't know how. So, and so you initiated that. And I was like, okay, yes, this is exactly. So we've decided, we've formed this alliance, yourself, Universal Unity, Awake to Oneness, and Awakening to Our Truth. The three organizations have formed an alliance, Universal Oneness Alliance. We just launched our website last week, and I'm so excited. We are hosting our first event together as an alliance in Victoria, Canada, on September 3rd, which is a Sunday. It's a holiday Sunday, so most people don't have to go to work. So it's a beautiful venue. The gardens, again, that all came from Spirit. Like I said, I know nothing about Victoria. I didn't even know at the time you were born and raised in Victoria.
Yes.
Yeah. See, Spirit didn't tell me that. I didn't even know that. I know that Brad is located in Victoria. I know that Tina's not far from Victoria, and I knew that you're in Canada somewhere.
Yeah.
And then you say, well, I was born and raised in Victoria, and your parents are still there. So that was all. I mean, it's synchronicity. How this all came together synchronistically was just so beautiful. So the venue is such a beautiful garden. It's the garden at HCP in Victoria. It's a beautiful venue. You actually went there and checked it out, which is great, because all I can see is pictures, but you actually got an opportunity to go there. And so it's just words can't even explain how wonderfully and amazing and and I can see Spirit at work here. So now I'm just trusting. I was like, okay, Spirit is, and the wonderful news too that we have to share with the listeners is that it's not just if you're in Victoria. We will also be live streaming the whole entire event. Right now, we're just selling the live tickets, but soon we will be also selling live stream tickets. So if you can't make it to Victoria that weekend, you can still be a part of this wonderful event.
Yes.
So,
And, this is
yes.
where what you mentioned a few minutes ago was about how easy and how flowing and how fluid and moving, stepping out of rigidity and truly seamless spirit is, and how the flow of this higher frequency can be when you're following and trusting the genius within, that God spark within, because it truly is it's a beautiful breath. And that's what they've called the river of life, is when you're in that cosmic flow of the divine, of Mother, Father, God just gifting you here and there, and you follow it. That's how it feels. It feels like a divine flow.
Yes, yes. And it's so wonderful what you were sharing about not having to go to work. We believe, society teaches us that you have to do 9 to 5. You have to. I teach piano lessons to children. I love it. I've been teaching piano lessons for over 25 years. And I say to my students, you follow your passion, follow your desire, whatever that may be. It may not be music, but whatever your passion is, follow that, and you'll never have to work a day in your life. Yes. I say that to all my students. I have students from 4 to 16, and it's all about tapping into your passion and following it and trusting, because that will support you. That's why we're here. Yeah. And that's when you're free, when you feel free to just live your authentic life and be who you came here to be. That's the true meaning of freedom. And you don't ever really have to work a day in your life.
Yes. And that's where we're stepping into this beautiful arrangement in which souls at the higher frequencies are threading. And I call them threads because that's how I see it in the etheric cosmic web of all that is. It's an omni field of threads of energy. And the higher aspects of all that we are on every other realm, because we're all working in different councils throughout the entire galaxy, because our whole universe is moving through in a new cycle. It's not just our planetary cycle that's moving through something, or our human family that's moving through something. It's our entire universe. So there's many levels and layers that we're all threaded within. And when you just allow the divine and surrender into it, all of those gifts that seemingly appear to be unrelated seem to be related in every way, without question, when you're moving in that divine flow of all that you are as the grander version of all that you are. When we allow ourselves to believe that we're limited and we have to do certain things, that's when we get stuck. That's when we get the blocks and the fears and the questioning. But when we open up to the grander version of all that we are, then we just flow with the divine, because we're connected and linked with so much. And this is what we're here to do here, is to ground these new loving, infinite, expansive lessons and create something totally new. That's why we're called the way showers.
So true, so true.
And so let's remind everybody about, because I don't think that you mentioned the website. Can you give the links and the date again of this beautiful event that we'll be in?
Sure. The website is oneness.org. So please come visit us there. Please give us a like on Facebook if you are just spiritually supporting us. Just give us a like on Facebook and sign up for our newsletter and our events, so we can keep you updated on what's going on. And the event is in Victoria, Canada. It is September 3rd. It's an all-day event. It starts at 9:30 a.m. and it's going to go until 6:30 p.m. It's just in a beautiful, the venue is the Gardens at HCP. It's just a beautiful, beautiful time. And like I said, if you can't make it there physically, we will be live streaming the event. So please, please join us, and we'll have a wonderful time together.
It's it's a beautiful. It's got the Horticultural Center of Victoria, and so the Horticultural Center is an organization, and they do a lot of weddings, and it's a beautiful garden that we can walk around, and there's going to be roses in full bloom at that time. And so, if you're really one that loves nature and loves the environment, we're going to do a little opening prayer and grounding ceremony, and then after the event is all completed, to ground and anchor these light vibrations in our soul family tribe gathering, if you will, from all over, we're going to hold a little ceremony out into the gardens, and we're going to, allow ourselves to thread our way through the beautiful nature that Gaia provides there, and we're going to do a beautiful ceremony, which is awesome, because this is what we've talked about, what I've talked about, and what I've been gifted as far as the light healing and wisdom centers. We're creating entirely new paradigms of the new human behavior and just moving about the planet in joy and in love and allowing each other to be in this way. So it's lovely.
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Joanna.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for entangling with me and for us to be synchronistically guided to one another. And I thank you for your heart and all that you do in your light work and your beautiful hosting of your beautiful radio show, and for allowing me to be a part of this lovely journey with you. And you do so much work, because I know that I've been so busy and you've been creating so much. So all of the credit for this alliance and the organization of it and the launching of it is entirely on your shoulders, and the few that have been working with you, Claudice and Vicky and Jamie. I mean, there's so many that have just come together synchronistically, but you have done so much work. So I really want to give you that praise and that acknowledgement. So thank you.
And let's not forget Gavin in Spain. We're truly international. We have Gavin in Spain. Yes. So I am so blessed. I am so thankful. Everyone that has come to the Alliance has been so totally amazing. And I also want to mention Jason Gill, he owns Stream of Consciousness. Now, see, here's another synchronicity that, like, again, I know nothing about Victoria. Jason Gill has this wonderful organization, live stream broadcasting company, Stream of Consciousness, which is located right in Victoria. And I was threaded with him, and he's just the perfect person to live stream this event to the world. So I'm so amazed.
Everything just comes together. It's meant to be.
Yes.
Well, thank you, my dear. Thank you, my dear. And you have me on your show soon, and I'll join you at any time. Maybe when I come back from Peru, you can have me on, and we'll do a ceremony online or something. That would be fun.
That will be perfect. Yes, we will do that. Thank you so much.
All right, love.
All righty. Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right.
And next we have with us Vicky, is my divine goddess sister, Vicky. Welcome to the show, Vicky, divine goddess sister.
Hi, how's everybody doing?
Good to be with you again. How are you feeling?
I feel amazing, fabulous, always when I'm connected with you.
Thank you. So what did you think about the new moon? Let's talk about the new moon energies and how we can spiral some inspiration to all of our listeners that are going through possibly ascension symptoms that feel a bit unique, that feel a bit fresh and not sure what to do, and how it affects the overall family structure and our family dynamic, and how we can ground some lovely energy. And what we've been talking about today is creating more joy, and really to be joyful in our lives, so that we can kind of let go of that 9-to-5 paradigm that we felt like we've been stuck within. So give me some of your perspectives on this.
Well, it's interesting because I've been going through that myself, for many years. And my partner actually laughs, because if I'm not integrating something, then I'm blissful. And so if I get flu-like symptoms or fever, which is how a lot of these energies can affect us, other people, are like, oh, I'm sick and I got to go to the doctor. And I sort of offer, like, what if you're just responding to energies? What if you're integrating what's going on with the new moon or with the, so I think that's what a lot of us have to remember is to ask ourselves that question about, and going out in nature. And even the other day I was in a yoga class, and I was expressing my, I had flu-like because I was detoxifying because of the energies, and the woman beside me who taught yoga for years was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot that can happen, because she felt like her brain was kind of being rewired. And it was like, that's what happens, is we just sort of forget, right?
Yes.
That it doesn't have to be a sickness or a dis-ease. It's just merely adjusting. And I think that actually is also how I feel about, because I was just thinking about the children and how everybody's diagnosing people with, the children with all these diagnoses. And it's like, wait a second, what if we were just really being multidimensional? What if we allowed ourselves the chance to be able to integrate all these dimensional energies and what's going on into our earthly existence?
Yes.
Right, but
that's actually what I had written. I had that written down here on my sheet. I had it written down on how the children, and this has just been our paradigm that we've been within. The children look to us for guidance.
Right.
But what's going to be shifting is that it's in the parents, because my children often say, "Well, Mom, I'm bored," and the children get tuned out because they're just not being challenged and stimulated. And for them, it's about stimulation. They're not. We talked about the 4 lower bodies, and I'm only interrupting you, Vicky, because this is so important, and I have to get it in. It came to me last night, but it's really, really important, because I've been so intent on creating this beautiful vortex for my family and this beautiful portal of love, so that we can create then the foundations of this beautiful light center. And it starts within the family always. But the four lower bodies that we're balancing in all humans, this is what we're balancing: the etheric, the emotional, the mental, and the physical. When children are moving about their life and they're creating such dynamic manifestations for themselves, i.e. boredom, i.e. can't tune in, i.e. can't focus, can't concentrate, all of these things that we've attached to, and we're not giving this a blanket statement to say that all children this is the effectiveness of, but what we want to do is we want to bring awareness and open understanding that it doesn't necessarily have to be diagnosed as any type of illness whatsoever, but as our awakening to what Vicki just said is our multidimensional expansiveness. Because I have 3 children, 12, 10, and 6. And if they're not emotionally stimulated, if they're not etherically stimulated, if they're not mentally stimulated, if they're not physically stimulated, they will tune out. They just turn off.
Yeah.
And so because we as light children from the 80s and 70s and 60s have come forward and experienced similar conditionings in similar environments where nobody really understood us and we didn't understand anything else around us because we were just different from everything else, it appeared. And so what this conversation allows us to do in this moment is to bring forward our understanding of not only awakening to the multidimensional understanding of all that we are, children, animals, nature, all things that we exist within. And how can we create sacred understanding, sacred reflection, that time with one another, those we talked about circles of love where we just share and listen, and allow the children to come forward and show us what it is that they require that stimulation. And for many, my son, if we sit and we have, we'll just have that intimate conversation, we talk about what's happening in his life and we talk about what's going on in his feelings and his emotions. And then, I'll hold his hand or I'll stroke his hand in that contact of very gentle and loving, kind and compassionate guidance. And that type of intimate communion and that intimate sharing, it does wonders. And it really does bring that vortex of love back into the home. And it creates that sacred space of, it's okay to feel what you feel. And that's when the emotional body is healed. The energy body is healed because they're okay to express who they are in all that they're feeling. And so this is where that paradigm and that triangle, we call it the sacred triangle because it really does, that's what it is. It's that beautiful dimensional body of all that you are, that beautiful triangle, sacred triad. And understanding these multidimensional varieties that these children are trying to navigate on their own with no direction whatsoever in the schools or in the home that's really guiding them in all that they are. So no wonder so many are feeling lost and kind of out of sorts. And this is the sensation as a collective energy that I sense, and that we can bring it back in, each and every one of us, and begin sacred circles of joy and sacred circles of fun and joy and laughter, and start grounding these new ways of behaving, because these children really look to us to create it.
Absolutely. And it's really becoming more and more imperative. If you can see with the unfortunate, what's the word I'm looking for? Of course, I'm not in my brain right now. The unfortunate increase in, drug use and overdoses, because even the children, because those are the crystal children, which is my children's age, they're exactly the same. They're kind of coming here going, it's going to be wonderful, and then they're being shut down or enforced into the school system, and like the same track that we grew up with. And so that's part of it too. So I just really, when I bring to people is like, what if it's not that? Like, that's fine if scientifically the medical institution finds all these things, but how about this other idea of maybe these children just need, like you said, like they need other stimulation, they need other support. How about if we just let them talk to us instead of telling them what they have to do, or booking them, the over scheduling of children to keep them busy so they're not bothering the parents? How about if we actually just change that a little bit and allow them to just sort of play, allow them to just sort of be, and they can, tell us what to do. And I mean, I'm guilty of that too. And when my children were brought up, I was not as conscious as I am now. And that's no judgment to myself or anybody. That's the way it was. And now I look back and go, oh yeah, so my kids were definitely trying to tell me what they needed. And you know what I mean? So even that paradigm, but like not going 9 to 5 work, but because that's what we were told to do. And even the parental, like, oh, we're told to like book our children and put them in activities and blah, blah, blah. So how about we start questioning? That's all. Just asking, why am I doing this? And is that really what, Susie wants? And what does she want?
The fun thing that I've been finding is that so when I've been, expressing the excitement about homeschooling, and we call it homeschooling, but that's just what everybody understands it. It's not what we call it. We call it homeschooling because that's just the definitions we've given it, but it's going to be light. It's going to be a light center of just being. Awesome. And so, and I say that, and it's like the one of the main concern that most people question is that, well, what about the socialization, and it's these definitions that we've defined that, well, what's to say that our children are not being healthily socialized in what they're doing right now?
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, we see the constraints, and we see I'm speaking for myself and my own personal journey, and it's important that I bring this forward because it's part of my integration into my divine path. When I was in my younger years, and I've talked about this briefly in my book and briefly in a few shows, but I rarely let the world see those intimate parts of myself, but it's important because I see it in my children, and I see it in their ideas to kind of understand who they are. In my understanding of who I was, there was very little discussion about energy, if any at all. There just wasn't. And so I moved around life feeling very lost and very alone and very secluded. I had many eating disorders. If I had an eating disorder, I then created drinking abuse. I then and I ran from all of those things. And those were my escapes to feel the temporary bliss of what I knew I was capable of what I knew that existed, because what I saw in reality was just very painful for me. And this is how some children that have come here in high vibrational states to truly show the rest of creation that we don't have to have it the way that it is. There's new ways of being. But because there's so much density around everything we've always done, it's time to step outside of what we've always done and step into something what we've never done. And that's be joyful and blissful, so that our children don't feel as if they have to run away and feel as if they have to go to things to get that temporary stimulation that is truly always will be gifted from within. And that's where we're coming to the forefront and relearning and remembering our divinity, so that we can show our children and show ourselves that your stimulation is with spirit, always has been, always will be. Because you can go to any drug, you can go to any alcohol, you can go to any dysfunction. It's temporary, and it's really the deprecation on your body and your soul, because you're trying to find who you are, and it's a hard, challenging path. I've lived it, and so we're here today because I know you and I have had many intimate conversations about our own unique paths, and you and I have both come here as divine sisters of light to truly show the world who we are, and all of our heartfelt devotion and commitment to make change and to create awareness and oneness and happiness to all beings that so desire. But perhaps there's new ways to see things about who we are and what we truly can create with joy, and who we can be in our cosmic initiations to a different way of living.
Yeah, it's exactly. And it's interesting, of course, sort of in a way, that I had the same upbringing as you, I think, and I was also had eating disorders, and I was even doing the cutting, which has become, unfortunately, quite the norm these days as well. Like when I was doing it, that was 40 years ago, and people are cutting themselves, and it's all. So that's why I got into this work and started waking up. But I don't want to see other people having to do that. So how about, we can stop it. So approach the children, the teenagers, and kind of go, hey, because somebody gave me that book when I was 15 about the yogi. And that's what I think our kids, it would be great if they were, meditation, if they're going to have to go to a school, a regular, how about they introduce meditation and yoga? Like I know that some places they're trying to do that, because as soon as people start turning within, it's sort of that's their natural flow, is the inner within, right? And so if we can provide that opportunity for anybody, children, seniors, hey, let's try meditation class, they start to realize their inner self. And that's what our society is so distractible about, the inner self, right? Like it's normal to carry your phone around, and even the children, right, with all the telephones, and it's kind of unfortunate, because that's not going within at all. the distractions starting at the age of 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Go out. So, and those to some of the grounding and tools to help people with all that, children and parents. I somehow intuitively knew my best communicative situations with my kids were going to happen if we were going for a walk in nature.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's different if you're like in a car or in your house and you're trying to have like a conversation, or you just want to like open the children up.
Yeah.
But it's not the same, right? And then if you go for a walk and all of a sudden it's just this great, beautiful flow of energy starts happening just by going for a walk, you know, quote unquote.
Yes.
So it doesn't have to be this big serious talk. So I just offer that as for some people, if they want to, you know, because people are always complaining about their children, you know, sort of disengaging and all that. It's like, well, you know, just go for a walk in nature, and it's you kind of can't feel bad walking through the trees.
Yeah, exactly. And just kind of, you know, how I see, you know, gifting the higher self is always gifting us, that we're communicating with God in every moment. And it's whether it's our own innate readiness from the heart. And if we're living with an open heart, we're going to be ready, because we understand that things must change. We must change what we're doing to create the new paradigms. Because we can't step into something new if we're not changing what we're doing. And so, you know, whether it's the 9 to 5 workday, whether it's the 9 to 3 school day, it doesn't matter what it is, but anything that you can do to inspire joy, and you can inspire play, and you can inspire excitement, and you can inspire just being with one another and having that really heartfelt eye contact, and that heartfelt, that's why we've called it sacred and communion, is because it feels, when you're truly connected and linked at the heart level, that divine open heart with their divine open heart, you can sense just all of the pain and the worry just drop away, because it feels sacred.
Yeah.
You know, the moment that the baby is placed on you, every mother can attest to how that feels, you know, and that's that sacred communion that occurs when you're linked with Mother, Father, God within. You just open it for the all, no matter what happens. You just say, I'm going to be vulnerable, and I'm bearing it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
That lets go of the abuse. And I mean, it just reminds me of when I was, you know, doing those things to my body, and I was being ill of who I was, you know, looking for that stimulation to bring me out of that stupor of what was going on in my emotional life and my etheric life. It's because I wasn't feeling the intimacy that I knew existed with spirit. And that's what I wrote in my book. It was like, there was that entanglement, that detachment. And it's like, where is that eye contact? Where is that devotion to just holding hands, and that devotion to just want to be with one another? And that's that intimacy that I craved.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I feel like most people ultimately crave that, even if they don't know what they're missing or why they crave it. You know what I mean? I think that, you know, they are, especially, you know, I think the older our, you know, generation, because we were not able to have, I mean, we had the 60s, right? Like tune in, turn on, drop out. It was sort of a taste of it, but then it quickly went away into, you know, everybody go to work and make money.
Materialism.
So, right? And so now it's kind of like, well, now the children are coming in and they're kind of demanding. I think that's what's happening, is they're making a statement. The children are actually like the rainbow children are the latest generation born from 2000 up, and they're called the rainbow children. They're usually born at the Crystal Scouts from the 90s, and they're coming from a 9th dimension of consciousness, and the Crystal Scouts are coming from a 6th dimensional consciousness. So it's just beautiful that we're actually we are evolving. The human, you know what I mean? It's happening, and so us older people, we got to catch on. And so reaching out to parents to kind of go, hey, what if, you know, it could be like this? So I'm just seeing like a series of like workshops or something, Joanna.
Yes.
I'm just like, you know, awareness and being an awareness engineer, just introducing a different way, a new paradigm. How about maybe this? And then those that resonate can go, that sounds cool. Right? Because, of course, we're not saying this is the way or you have to do it like this. I would never say that. But definitely, because I know some people, as soon as you introduce, you know, an idea or topic, and they're like, oh, I never thought of that before. And that's one way to, I think, reach people instead of bashing them over the head with.
Yes. And that's, you know, it's always free will, and it's always it's always taken from our own unique perspective. And because, I've come from my own unique perspective. I can sense, and this is why my children are contracted with me and I'm contracted with them, is because we can allow each other to see the lessons that we're teaching each other. And they're teaching me more lessons than I'm often teaching them by far. And I've always said that, and it's the gift that children give us. And it's for us to kind of just set the foundation of energy and to set the foundation of say, we're willing to change things, show us the way. And then the children are just going to show us the way. And it's going to be like, we're going to look back, like I said, in eons from now and be at the council chambers. And we're going to say, well, we just decided to open to love. And the children show us.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting when you said that made me think that after I was divorced, I started realizing then that my children were having behaviors which came from emotional wounds, like they were wounded by the divorce, they were wounded by things. And that love for my children propelled me into finding healing things for myself, and then introducing that to my children to say, hey, and they started seeing, well, mom is doing this healing and it's really working. She's changing. They could tell, they just, because they're so aware. And then they were like, and they trusted me. And then they started like body talk and some yoga. Like they started realizing, because we weren't like that before. And they started seeing the benefits and how happy and joyous I was living. And they were, and I said, you too, and I offered it. And then they started doing that. But if it wasn't for them showing their true selves to me and their anger and their whatever was going on for them, I would not maybe have evolved. So I love that give and take, that the evolutionary. It's not the parent knowing everything and teaching the kids. It's actually the kids going, hey, hello, there's an issue here, And so that's what I think is the key. Is trying to be really present and aware with whoever is in your relationship, right? And kind of going, oh, something needs to shift here, or how can I grow from this? And so I call it, like people have painful emotional situations all the time, and these are evolutionary. They're kind of preemptive evolutionary catalysts, as opposed to devastating, horrible things or failure or any of those paradigms that people like to attach to divorce or breakup. So I love that when you can find that's just beautiful.
And that's when we talk about all these new paradigms and these new beginnings and these new sensations that we don't even know what they're going to look like. But you and I have talked when we feel inspirations throughout our week, and we'll text one another, say, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? I feel and I sense the energy that we're actually creating something just with these inspirings and just with these musings and our conversations back and forth, because these energies are being ignited out into the universe. And those that so desire, that get excited and see similar things happening in their own families, they can go about creating inspirations and creativity about what will work within their own home dynamic and their own home and family circles, and really create their own circle of love, their own unique portal within their family, in which light workers don't have to be the ones with all the answers. They can be the ones that merely just hold the space and allow the love to come forward and allow the play to begin. And this is truly what we're changing for me anyways, is because I've always been one to think I had to solve everything and I had to be the fixer of everything. And it's really important for light workers to allow themselves that graciousness and that self-love and self-honor to say, you really can't, you're not responsible for fixing everything, but you can just merely hold the space and be unconditional.
That is so true. And I would felt the same, because I'm such an empath, and I would just feel and see the pain everywhere. And I'm like, oh, I have to go around and, Reiki everybody and talk to everybody and listen to everybody. And now, the last little while, the same thing with me is I've just been showing up. I just show up. And sometimes I don't even talk. I just, like if there's a group or a meeting or at work, if there's an issue, I just stand there and I'm present. And that's actually one of the, I feel, almost more powerful than opening my mouth and saying anything or giving any advice. Or you're absolutely right. Just the energy of being in our hearts and being clear and just being present is kind of can quite solve a lot of issues sometimes, and that's the thing about just focusing and doing the work on ourselves and being of spirit and true, clean Satnam, which is the truth. We're just the truth, right? We're just being, and actually I decided that, I guess I don't know what's going on. Well, lots going on, but I decided, my Kundalini yoga teacher was telling me her spiritual name And I said, oh, that's beautiful. I would love to have a spiritual name. And so she said, here's where you can get one. And so I got myself a spiritual name, which feels really great. And the old me would have felt unworthy, that old unworthiness that's kind of there, all used to be there, that thread.
Yeah.
And so I just accepted my spiritual name, and not from like a place of ego or anything, but just merely from a place of like, oh, this feels beautiful and joyous, right?
Yeah.
So that was really fun. So allowing ourselves to give ourselves what we want in the moment, like that is joy. If you give yourself what you need in the moment and not feel guilty, shame, or unworthy, I think that's the joy, right? And of course, to get there too, sometimes we do need to do other kinds of, body work, body talk, whatever we're guided to doing, to releasing those messages of wounds that have been there.
Yes. Because the multidimensional body, I mean, anything, it starts off as energy first, whether it's a belief or a truth that you've taken on, whether it's the negative imprints in our society, whether it's the societal imprints in any type of socioeconomic system we've created for ourselves. We all know that the negative imprints are there. They're in our families. They're in everything. So it's about each and every one of us being really, truly honoring who we are at the divine sacred heart and saying, I'm worthy of divine love. I'm worthy to know myself as a divine master of light. And walk forward in that knowingness and honor yourself, whether you want to, take a day off work and go walk on the beach with your kids, then do so. And allow these small and little intimate changes to truly start changing and sculpting a new reality for yourselves, because it really doesn't have to be huge changes. They're little bit by little bit. And the next thing you know, you're a galactic citizen of new light frequencies.
Exactly. And what's really great about that, like what Carolyn and you were talking about, was that when we do more and more and more and more and more of that, and just focus on that, which is actually my spiritual name means devotional, one-dimensional, one focused devotional to God consciousness, because that's exactly my point. That's it. And so however that shows up, what's beautiful about that is then people come into your life for that purpose, and people will leave for that purpose. Like some people will say, I don't understand, since I've been doing whatever they've been doing for their evolution or their needs, so-and-so hasn't called, I haven't seen this relative, you know what I mean? And then they think that something's wrong, right? We go to that thing of like, what am I doing? Oh, I should reach out to something. But actually, maybe something is right. Maybe that's okay. Right. Maybe maybe that person has left your life, and it's okay. Like, it's okay. But that is one of the hardest things for people, I think, on this path is of their own personal growth, is acknowledging people coming and going. People will show up. Letting go is a really, it seems to be because we have that paradigm, right? We have to keep these relationships forever.
So awesome. I love you, and I love connecting with you. I'm going to read something to you, and while your heart is open and while your heart is pure, and we're going to ground these energies from the Elohim. And their support for us today is this: rest assured, dear ones, that you are supported. Those carving new trails of human discovery, whether it be scientific revelations or to serve the greater good, the community offerings, or all that you do in your daily lives, in any way that you go about with pure heart, or higher dynamic dimensional healings and healing centers of learning, whatever it is that you want to create, if you do it with pure intent, if you do it with the pure joy of just doing it, then all will be supported. You will have heavenly support in all ways. So just know that if you do things from your pure heart of joy, from your pure heart of love, from your pure heart just to be present with your children, just to be present with your partner, just to be present with who's ever in front of you, every person that's in front of you is your soulmate. They're your heavenly family. They're your archangels. So allow all those beings in front of you to be the sacred, heavenly, divine aspects of all that they are, because they're you in their highest heavenly form. And if you can imagine that, that's when you start filtering out all that is truly magical and divine, and you become that cosmic citizen, because that's how they see us. They don't see us as lower dimensional beings. They don't see us as, conflicted and confused. They see us with profound compassion and with profound reverence. And so if we walk with ourselves in that way and others in that way, then that's all that we create in that way.
Absolutely beautiful. That's so, 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 so true.
So I celebrate you, and I celebrate you, my heavenly sister, and I celebrate you in all that we're going to co-create together. And I thank all of the beautiful divine people that connect with us day after day, or week after week, regardless of whether you find us on YouTube or the KCOR station. Join us in our monthly Sacred Temple teachings, and we create ceremony, we create groundings of new light fields and new templates for our future us, our future aspects of who we are, our future children, our future crystalline indigo children that we are, coming to life in new ways. So allow yourself to be joyful and playful and create from the heart, because you're worthy of it, and you're a divine child of all that is. You're a divine child of Mother, Father, God, and you're worthy of this ride. So thank you. Thank you, Vicki, once again for joining me. And we're going to have you on it again and again, because you and I are going to be creating lots of great things together, and lots of great events and ceremonies with Gaia and children and families of all ages, of all paradigms, all over the world and all over the universe, because we always pull in a universal field and a universal energy frequency. So we thank you, the universal families of all that we are.
Beautiful. Thank you for having me on today.
Thank you, Vicki.
Love to all.
Love to you as well. So celebrate all that you are, dear lighted ones. And thank you to Tina and KCOR for always supporting us and holding the space for our highly dynamic, high vibrational discussions week after week after week. So we thank you. And I will be off until the 15th of June, and we will return for our summer solstice event. So check out our website, our monthly Sacred Temple teachings, and I'm going to come back with lovely, beautiful, spirited stories with nature and with Gaia and with the beautiful Peruvian energy. And I can't wait. So namaste. This is Joanna from the heavens to you. You are loved and you are blessed in every way. And namaste.
You've been listening to Universal Unity, New Earth Consciousness with Joanna L. Ross. Live every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. To explore, empower, understand, inspire, and further connect with this higher state of consciousness, please visit universalunity.ca. For more information on the host, Joanna L. Ross, please visit her KCOR Digital Radio Network show page, Universal Unity, New Earth Consciousness. You're listening to the all-new KCOR, the core, broadcasting from Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital of the world. Oh yeah, in a little place called Area 51.